Hi everyone, this is Real Talk with Magdalene, and today we'll be talking about why people stay in relationships that hurts them. So there are people who stay in relationships even though they are not happy, even though the relationship tampers with their peace, it tampers with their joy, it tampers with their sanity, but they still remain there because of certain reasons we'll be discussing today. And we'll also talk about how to know when it is time to walk out of a relationship, especially when it is messing with your peace, when it is messing with your mental health, you know. So one of the major reasons why people stay in relationships even though it hurts them is because of fear of starting over, not necessarily fear of the person, but fear of having to start a relationship all over again, the fear of meeting someone new, the fear of telling your stories again, the fear of facing loneliness. And most times, this issue of facing loneliness happens when you do not love yourself enough as an individual. You do not see yourself as enough reason to be happy, as enough reason to exist, So that is why you see it is advisable for women, for ladies, not just ladies and guys, both gender, to find love in yourself, to see yourself as, number one, see yourself as being enough. You are enough. And most of them also are scared of having to face judgments, but really, who cares about what people have to say? Because your life is your life, as long as you know that you're on the right track, as long as you know that you're doing the right thing. And most of them are also scared of the unknown. Most people say it's better to the devil is better than the angel you do not know. So for many people, they feel like it is better to stay in pain. So it feels safer than walking into uncertainty, walking into something else that you are not even sure of, that you don't know what the outcome may be. But I also want to say to you to always be optimistic. Like, no matter how much pain you've been through in relationships, no matter how much hurt you've gone through, always be optimistic and believe that the best is yet to come, and the best will definitely locate you. No matter how long it takes, it will definitely come. You deserve the very best. And to even start with, that's God's plans for you. He said his plans for you are good. So why do you want to remain in a space where you are not happy? Why do you want to remain in a space where you have to manage? So that's the basic reasons. But on this note, I want us to reflect. Sometimes some people say some people tell themselves, at least I know this pain. I think I've mentioned it before, where they say the angel is better than the devil. The devil is better than the angel you do not know. So I feel like comfort and safety are not the same. So staying doesn't always mean that you're strong. It sometimes just means that you are scared, and fear is not an option. Fear is not an option, like I've said before. Feel free to walk out if your relationship is messing with your sanity, if your relationship is messing with your peace, and if it is messing with your peace. Another reason why people remain in relationships that hurts them is due to emotional attachment. I can understand, and this happens mostly to the ladies because women are built to be emotional. So it's so hard to see yourself walking out of a life that you've built so much memories. There were joy moments, you've shared plans, walking out of a place that once felt like home. So even when the relationships feel unhealthy, the attachments, especially when it comes to the women, doesn't disappear easily. So the thing is, you can be attached to someone who is no longer good for you. It doesn't mean that person, you love that person. It's just normal. We are human. We have emotions. It's just so hard to detach from people easily, so it takes time. And that also helps when you have come to the realization and you tell yourself the truth about the whole thing, and you're like, this person is not good enough for me, I have to walk out of this relationship. So sometimes what keeps most women there is not love, it is familiarity. Because yes, you love the person, yes, you're still emotionally attached to the person, but this person does not want the best for you, but this person is not good for you. So it's so hard to work out because you have familiarized yourself with this person, and it's so hard to detach yourself. So it is another reason why most people stay in unhealthy relationships. Another reason why people remain in relationships that hurt them is because they believe that a relationship that was once peaceful, that was once sweet, that was once rosy will change eventually. Like there is a hope that things will get better, so you get to remember the good old days, remember the version of them that was kind, that was attentive, affectionate, that was loving, and all of that. So you keep waiting and you keep hoping, and hope becomes dangerous when it ignores the reality of what is happening presently. So sometimes it shouldn't be based on potential, it should be based on the present. How is this person acting right now? Have you spoken to the person about these things? Is this person willing to change? Is this person remorseful? If there are changes, fine, then we can rely on hope. But if there are no changes, I see no reason why you should be hoping that because he was once an angel and now a beast, so you feel like the tendency of him going back to becoming an angel is 100%. It doesn't work that way. So I think that someone changing once is not the same as someone changing consistently. So you have to pat yourself on the back and tell yourself the truth. Another reason why people remain in relationships that hurt is when love turns into self-abandonment. So when this partner of yours is disrespecting you, is lowering your standards, making you lose yourselves, and the saddest part is he may not notice it is happening, which is fine, because sometimes we do certain things that we are not aware of. When you draw that person's attention to these things, how does this person react? So if you constantly have to shrink, you constantly have to beg, you constantly have to explain your pain, then something is wrong, because it is very dangerous when your emotion is abandoned. So that brings us to knowing when to leave. So every relationship has problems, like I said initially, but there are signs that you should never ever ignore. So I think that whether you are a lady or you are a guy, you know that it is time for you to leave when you feel emotionally drained all the time. If it happens all the time, when your needs are constantly dismissed, when you have communicated clearly and nothing changes, when you feel more anxious than peaceful, and when you no longer recognize yourself, my dear, it speaks so loud that it is time to leave, because love should never ever feel like survival. So finally, I would say that some people stay because they believe that leaving means failure, but sometimes leaving is actually the bravest thing you can do. So you are allowed to choose peace over chaos. You are allowed to start over again. You are allowed to want more, and you are allowed to explore other better opportunities or chances in terms of relationships. So if you're watching this and it feels personal, know that you're not alone. So that brings us to these questions. Why do you think people stay in relationships that hurt them? Have you ever stayed longer than you should have? What helped you leave, or what's keeping you in that relationship, or what's keeping you after you have left? Please share your comments in the section below and let other people learn from you. See you in my next video.